Hey everybody, welcome to Kyle Not Kyle Show. I'm Kyle.
I'm not Kyle.
And we're doing our preseason wrap-up shows right now. We're going to be doing some AFC predictions. I'm going to give you what I think their specific record is going to be. He'll be given more than 8 wins, more than 9 wins, stuff like that. One note on mine, it's what I didn't look at I had them losing to this team, so that's a loss. I just looked at their schedule and said this is as high as I think they can go in the win column. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. We'll get started with the AFC North. Who do you have winning the AFC North this year?
I have the Cleveland Browns winning the AFC North.
Ooh, going with the popular pick here. How many wins do you have them win?
12 or more.
Ooh. See, I have the Browns finishing second in the division. I have them going 10-6. I like what I'm seeing, but I'm hesitant to go all in on them just because for so many years that hasn't been the case. I like their quarterback situation. I think Baker is just completely revitalizing that team, and now he has Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., that running back.
Before you go any further with that, they didn't play in the preseason, those 2 wide receivers.
Yeah.
It was another guy, so it was the 3 and the 4s.
Yeah.
And you could tell Mayfield didn't give a crap about the game. It was like a live practice to him.
Yeah.
He was trying to do stuff that I don't know if he would try to do in a game.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other things where I was going, okay, Beckham and Landry would have made that catch.
Yeah.
They would have done that. And I just watched that preseason so far. And then that defense, I'm not going to be shocked if they're a top 3 defense.
Yeah, that defense is pretty good.
That defense was, I was just going, holy moly.
Yeah.
That's the Bears. They're going to give the Bears defense a run for their money.
Making some pretty big claims there, Rob. All right, so I actually have the Steelers winning it. I have them going 12-4. I think after this offseason, they're looking over at Antonio Brown and the Raiders going, woo, we are done with that mess. My thing I'm interested to see, and he's one of the more intriguing.
But last year, he was their team leader in receiving and touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it's not like they got rid of a headache only. They got rid of their highest production guy.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a close second. Juju was the second, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah. And I have him as one of my intriguing picks this year, as most intriguing people to watch is Juju Smith-Schuster and how he's going to do this year being the number 1. I just think that, mostly this was the one I went back and forth with the most because like you, I think the Browns are going to be a lot better than people think they're going to be, but I'm also still trying to be hesitant and not just, get on the hype train. So I have the Steelers.
Hold on, the hype train here. Hold on. You got to remember about last year. Mayfield didn't play until game 4.
Yeah.
If he would have played from the beginning, they would have at least won one more game.
Yeah.
Which would have had them winning the division last year.
Yeah, but they also have a different coaching staff this year. Greg Williams is gone.
Different coaching staff after week 3.
Yeah.
So I don't see any team in that division giving them a run for their money.
Yeah. I mean, look, I will gladly eat my words if the Browns end up beating the Steelers.
Are you gonna do the rundown of the division, or are we gonna go?
Yeah. So okay. I have the Steelers at 12-4, the Browns and Ravens both going 10-6, with the Browns getting the tiebreaker over them, and then I have the lowly Bengals at 6-10.
So you have 3 teams in that division going 10 wins or more.
Yeah.
So basically, both wild cards are going to come from that division.
Nope.
Then that's impossible.
No, it's not.
So you have a team that's going to have more than 10 wins not make the playoffs?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't highlight that. I'm sorry. Yes, I do have the Browns making it as the second wild card. I had mis-highlighted something.
So you have the Ravens not making it, or the Steelers not making it?
I have the Steelers winning the division. Browns making it as a wild card.
Okay.
My bad.
So you ready for mine?
Yeah.
I got the Browns taking it with 12 wins or more.
Okay.
The Ravens taking second place with 10 wins or more.
Okay.
The Bengals in third place with 10 wins or less, more likely less, and the Steelers coming in at 8 wins or less.
Oh, Steelers at 8 or less wins. All right. Is that solely just because they don't have Bell or Brown anymore?
I watched the last 6 games that they played last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they had no running game to speak of. And Roethlisberger was making mistakes.
Yeah.
Like how Rodgers does when he's like, okay, I'm going to go out and win the game then.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, I'm going to force the ball here. I'm going to force the ball there. And he had a better team last year than he does this year. And I think their defense might be a little better this year.
Steelers, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think their offense is going to be nearly as good as it was last year.
Okay.
I also think what might happen is they might jump out to, let's say, 4-2 and then lose 4 in a row. Because I wasn't impressed with them last year. They lost too many games. I know that one game in the when they played the Saints, that was actually a good game. Yeah. They had Brown and Schuster. I think it's just like this year with New England, but not to the same extent because I don't think Roethlisberger is as good as Brady.
No.
Losing Gronkowski is huge. Absolutely huge. They can get back Gordon. That'll be fine. But I actually don't think at this point in time Gronkowski is even replaceable.
No.
I think they'll have a better running game, but I don't think Michelle's gonna. I don't think he'll break 1,000 yards. He'll get injured. But
and that's the interesting thing too.
I think it's the not having Antonio Brown. I think last year when they didn't have Le'Veon Bell for the first 6-8 games, it didn't really show.
Yeah.
But then once I forget his name, James Conner got hurt. He got hurt. Yeah. That's something that Brown didn't have happen. The latter part of the season, he was never hurt. He sat out the first 4 games a lot of times, or was suspended or whatever. But Bell.
Yeah.
I don't think. And the other thing to remember last year is the Bengals were at 4-1, and then took their typical nosedive because they had a bunch of injuries. So it's not like they were a stinky team. They were a team that was like the Falcons last year. They were riddled with injuries. They had a ton of injuries.
Yeah.
So that's my AFC North prediction. The Steelers sniffing the basement and the Browns taking the glory. That's right. Talk about a flip-flop.
All right, so we're going to head south to the AFC South. Big shakeup in there as Saturday, Andrew Luck announced his retirement. Kind of sent some shockwaves through the league, which I don't blame him. I mean, if you look at the laundry list of injuries he suffered, oh my gosh,
but he knew. He should have told him 3 weeks ago.
Well, so there's been reports that even the scouts knew this for a while. But yeah, I do agree. He should, if he knew earlier, he should have told him.
I don't think of all the 1s to 2s in the entire NFL right now, that's the least differential. Going from Luck to Brissett, that's the closest range you're going to find on any team.
Yeah.
I was just going, okay, it's not like they got a new guy in there. Brissett played with him with a worse line. I'm going, okay, give him Quentin Nelson and a better defense.
Yeah.
I'm going, okay.
Oh, yeah, I think they'll do just fine.
I don't think they're just fine.
I have the Texans taking the division.
As do I.
I have them going 11-5.
I have them going 10 wins or more.
10 or more, yeah. I think this is just. I mean, if I'm Bill O'Brien, I'm looking at luck going down. I'm just rubbing my hands, saying, "All right, let's let this offense go. Let's just go crazy here." So I mean, you know, you got Deshaun Watson, you got DeAndre Hopkins.
They lost their running back though.
Yeah, that I did see.
That's
Saturday
huge.
was a rough day. Saturday was a rough day for that division. Yeah, because they really don't. I mean, they have Duke Johnson, who he'll hold up fine for them, but I mean, Lamar Miller was a completely different type of back for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do still have Houston winning it. I have the Colts going 10-6.
I have them going 10 wins or more.
And I have them just missing the playoffs due to a tiebreaker loss with the Browns via scheduling. I have the Titans going 9-7. And then I have the Jaguars eking out an 8-8 record.
Okay, I have Jacksonville going 10 wins or less, and the Titans going 10 wins or less.
Okay.
I could see both of those two teams hitting that 10-win mark, mainly because I think Jacksonville just getting Foles, I think, is 4 wins.
Yeah.
That defense is still really, really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And then the Titans, I still don't know what they're – I mean, they're a run team, and their defense is pretty stout, but I don't know if you can put up less than 14 points a game and think you're even going to get a bye come playoff time.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
I just don't see them. I have Houston 1, Indy 2, Jacksonville 3, and Tennessee 4.
Yeah. I do have the Titans eyeing a quarterback in one of the first 2 rounds this next year. I mean, I've always liked Mariota. I thought he's been a great guy, but being a good guy doesn't get you wins in the NFL.
Well, he's got to make the whole – if he doesn't make the whole season, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
If he does make the season, I don't think they do it. I don't think they would.
I mean, because the 2 knocks going against him, and one he can help, one he can't. The being healthy is one, but then he's had a different – I think this will be the first time he's had the same offensive coordinator for 2 years.
But that's in the NFL, that's irrelevant anymore. It's not a big thing. Everybody has this happen to him. Tom Brady is the only guy that doesn't have this happen, and I think he's the only guy who doesn't need. He doesn't need an offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
go to each team. Just go to each team and go, in the last 5 years, how many different coordinators they've had, or head coaches, and you'll be hard pressed to find a single team that has any country. I mean, even New England's had what three in the last 15 years. No. Defensive coordinators, they've had 3 in the last 3 years.
Oh, we don't really have one this year.
I don't think they really have had one ever since Belichick's been there, but that's a subject.
Hey, I call it next year. Gerard Mayo is our defensive coordinator. He's been the one making the defensive calls all preseason. Defense has been looking pretty darn good in the preseason. So, all right, moving on. We're going to hit the AFC West. I have 2 teams making the playoffs from this division, and you'll probably be able to guess what 2.
Chargers, Chiefs.
Yep, I have the Chiefs winning the division at 13-3. I have the Chargers making the wild card as 12-4. Then
I got the Chargers at 12 wins or more, and I got the Chiefs at 12 wins or more.
So either or.
Yeah, I think where that between those two, where it's going to come down to is Kansas City plays Green Bay at the end of the season in Green Bay, and the Chargers play the Bears at the end of the season in Chicago. So you're looking at going into freezing areas.
I would say the Chargers have a little bit more of a disadvantage there, just because it can get pretty cold at Arrowhead sometimes. I'm not saying that. I'm talking
the advantage of going. I'll give you the other example. You go into New England in December. What are your odds of winning?
Usually not
much lower than they are in September and October.
Yeah.
I think it's that home field, that whole thing. And if those two teams, it's like, okay, the Bears and the Packs.
Outside of the freak 2015 year where we lost to the Eagles at home and just completely fell apart at the end of the year, your chances of winning in Foxborough in December are almost non-existent.
Well, and not to say that any of those teams are gonna go to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, but I could see those being a rematch in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it being Kansas City, Green Bay in the Super Bowl. I could see it being the Chargers and the Bears in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, it's the Cardinals and the Lions the last. It's like, yeah, who cares? Nobody cares.
Oh, gosh.
And then I got the Broncos winning less than 10 games. Okay. But I can see them getting right up next to that 10 wins.
I have them at 10-6.
This year. I see them this year as giant killers. I think they're going to screw up 3 or 4 teams' playoffs. They get in a mile high at the end. He's looked fine. He's looked absolutely fine.
Those are two names me as a Patriot fan does not like to hear. Mile High and Flacco.
No, well, here's the other thing. And this is the thing that I'm looking forward to as much as Cleveland's defense, as much as Chicago's defense. Mm-hmm. Second year tandem of Chubb and Miller.
Yeah.
And Miller didn't play in the preseason so far, but Chubb has been a wrecking machine.
Yeah, which that's good because there was a little bit of criticism about his performance last year. So I think it's a good thing for him coming in like that. So
well, they were also you got to remember they weren't putting up any points.
Yeah.
The teams and other than the Chiefs pretty much blew them out of the water.
Yeah.
One game. Can't remember. It was early on. And it was when that devastating offense where they were scoring 4 or 5 touchdowns. And then I got the Raiders taking 4th. I think they're going to be a massive improvement over last year, but I don't see them winning more than 8 games tops.
I have them going 6-10. Yeah, but I won't be shocked if they get more than that.
I got Chargers winning the division, by the way. Chiefs.
Yeah, so you have Chargers with Chiefs getting the wild card?
Yep.
All right, so I'm flipped that way. I have the Chiefs winning the division, Chargers getting the wild card. And, yeah, AFC East, I think we all know who I'm picking to win the division. I think everyone knows who they're picking to win the division. Unless you're just going to throw out some really crazy reasoning for why it won't be back-to-back AFC East champs. I have the Patriots.
Barring a Brady injury, that's it.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that because.
Even then, I think he could be out 3 games, and if that defense is even 3/4 of that defense from the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah. And here's the thing with that defense.
Chung is huge. Losing Chung is huge.
So his arraignment isn't, or what the next step of the trial isn't going to happen until I believe it's their bye week. It's either their bye week or it's the end of the season. And they're not going to suspend until the judicial process has run its course.
As of today, don't expect that to be the case.
Yeah.
Expect the worst case. Don't tell me Belichick's not going, well, we'll have Chung the whole season. He's going, we're not going to have Chung any game at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there more and more stuff is coming out about this case, and it's sounding more and more like it is probably going to get tossed out due to some circumstances about whose it actually is. Either way, yeah, I agree. If we lose him, that is a huge loss.
Oh, it's massive.
He is huge on that defense as a tight end neutralizer.
And a tackling machine.
Yeah. Oh, I love Chung. So when I saw it, so, oh, gee, here we go. But no, so we also got back Jamie Collins. Jamie Collins, so far this preseason, has looked almost as good as he did before we traded him. We also have Jawan Bentley, who we lost last year after he tore his pec in like week 4 or whatever.
Hold on.
Had been starting on defense.
Is this the Jamie Collins you said stunk and that's why they got rid of him? You can't finish games?
No. They got rid of him because he wanted more money than they felt he was worth, and he was not doing what he was supposed to do.
Is he the one that went to the Browns?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. Bill basically came out and said this in one of the America's Game or Do Your Jobs. He was freelancing. He was supposed to be an X slot, and he would be off here trailing on the other end of the field. And that happened. That led to, I believe, both scores in the Buffalo game. So they just said, you know what, get out of here, and traded him. But it sounds like they've kind of worked it out and stuff. I'm super stoked for our linebacking core this year. We got Hightower, Van Noy, Bentley, and Collins. So I'm excited to watch this defense.
All I'm saying is if they lose Chung, that's huge.
Oh, I agree.
Because half those linebackers you just said, when was the last time they finished a season? You're going Van Noy, maybe. Hightower can't finish a season if you...
Van Noy last year.
Yeah, Van Noy and Flowers lasted the whole season last year. I mean, Hightower's good. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't play 16 games. I don't know if he's ever played 16 games. I've got them taking the division at 12 wins or more.
Okay.
And I got the Jets at number 2 at 10 games or less. The Dolphins and the Bills both at 8 games or less. And I think, and I just plugged in Miami over Buffalo because I actually think I've watched the preseason games with the Jets. And I actually think they're going to – I don't see them going in and just like ass whooping on people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is going to be the year where they win the games they're supposed to win and win some of the games they're not supposed to win.
Yeah, no,
I look
I
at
agree.
this as kind of a confidence year. And I will say this, if they are able to beat, and I think they play New England early on.
Yeah, it's like week 3.
Yeah, if they are able to beat New England, I think next year is when you're going to see them surge. They're going to be more of a problem in that division.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I just don't see any of them giving the Patriots any kind of.
I don't either, mostly just because of who their head coach is. Only time he could ever beat us was down in Miami when the weather was just and whatever mystic voodoo was going on down there late in the year.
The Dolphins were inferior. The Dolphins are an inferior team to the Patriots. They should never beat them. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But they did. And Gase, regardless of what you say, Gase, I would say more than any head coach in the NFL, has coaching experience against the Patriots.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I think that's why he got the job, personally.
I think so too. And I have the Jets going 9-7. I have the Bills going 8-8. And then I have the Dolphins last. I'm going 7-9 just because I think they're struggling to figure out what their identity is right now.
Same thing with the Bills.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Jordy Nelson is fine as a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not Jordy Nelson, Cole Beasley.
Oh, yeah.
He's their number 1 guy.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's not.
He's the poor man's Julian Edelman.
No, I don't even know what he's.
He's a slot guy.
No, but I bet you Edelman's got 20 pounds on him.
Probably.
And I don't think Edelman's 180.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, our playoff teams, you want to run down what yours are real fast?
Okay. So, first round of the divisional playoff games. I have Kansas City going into Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And I have Baltimore going into Cleveland. So that means the Chargers and the Patriots have the bye. That's who I'm having as the bye. So they're 1 and 2. I'm not going to tell you who I think has the 1 record. I'm not going to tell you how the 2 record. I'm going to let that fall out. Then I have Cleveland going into New England. And I have the Chiefs going to play the Chargers. Then I have New England in the 3rd round going to the Chargers.
So we'll win that one too. Okay, got it.
No, I think that's going to be the I think that's going to be, and I don't really know how to word this, the first team in the Super Bowl era to have more visiting jerseys in the AFC Championship and then go to the Super Bowl.
I think. Come on.
I think
you do realize Phillip Rivers is 0-7 against Tom Brady, right? Against Bill Belichick's defense, he is 0-7, my friend.
So
means Bill has his number.
Okay, once again, by the transitive property, that means Eli Manning
enough with the stupid transitive property.
Nick Foles owns Tom Brady. Owns him. It's not even close. Out rushed him, out receivered him, out passed him, outplayed him.
Out illegal touchdowned him. Yeah, he did out illegal touchdown him. Thank you for admitting that.
No, it's not an illegal touchdown. It was a perfect.
2 of them shouldn't have counted.
Catch. Sure it would have. Why wouldn't it have counted?
According to how they had been called all season long, that would not have counted.
No, you do this every time. If the Patriots win, there's no cheating involved, which there's no team more that they looked upon as cheaters in the NFL than the Patriots.
Even though we are the 16th ranked team.
True or not, they look at it that way.
Hey, I would love a Chargers-Patriots Super Bowl game or AFC Championship. I think that would be a great matchup.
Well, you're not. When we go into the NFC one, because I think it's not going to end as well. I think the Saints and the Chargers are going to the Super Bowl. I think the Saints are going to beat the Chargers, and it's going to be for the next 10 years. We could have had Breeze. The master beats the student. Remember, Rivers was behind Breeze back in San Diego.
Yeah.
And it's more of a story than it is anything else. I'm not going, this is going to happen. There's no way it's not going to happen. I think Kansas City's the dilemma that they're going to face this year is kind of what they did last year. Their defense isn't.
No.
Because last year was the first year in I don't know how many years the Patriots backed into that number 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Texans lost 4 of their last 5 games. People forget that.
Yeah.
They were going to be the number 1 seed. Like, yeah, but we can't beat guys in our own division. We can't beat the Titans. We can't beat the Jags. What's your playoff picture look like?
So I have Patriots number 1, Chiefs number 2, Steelers 3rd, Texans 4th, and then I have the Chargers 5th and the Browns get the 6th seed. So it would be Browns go to the Steelers, Chargers go to the Texans, and then I have Steelers going to the Chiefs and Chargers going to New England. Followed by this is where I got stuck because I wasn't sure because I'm like, man, I could see the Steelers or the Chiefs winning that game. I would probably I'm leaning more towards another, rematch of last year, same teams, different location, same result, obviously, but but honestly, really, I wouldn't be shocked if the Chiefs.
You think Kansas City's gonna be in the AFC Championship again?
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah, but like I said, I have them doing that just barely. I would not be shocked if the Steelers, or even if it got flipped around in the Chargers, going into Arrowhead, winning, and then coming to New England. The way this defense has looked, again, like you said, if they are even 3/4 as good as they were during the Super Bowl, we're going to be fine. I mean, I would obviously always put money on New England at home in the playoffs because they so rarely lose in the playoffs.
Well, and I think where they can take the number 1 seed, New England, this year is the AFC West plays the NFC North.
Yeah.
Which you just go, okay, Chargers got to beat Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City's going to have to beat Minnesota, Chicago, Green Bay, and Detroit. Yeah, and exactly. You go, they can't mix those.
Yeah.
They have to have. They've got. I was going, okay, I can see them splitting 1-1, right?
Yeah.
But then you go, that's their own division. I think is always. You know this as a New England guy. There's always one team in that division that's going to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how does this happen? But those rivalries are so intense.
Right.
So if let's say that the Chiefs and the Chargers both lose to each other,
mm-hmm.
and then they go 3-1 against the NFC North.
Yeah.
To both of them do that. It's going to come down to who does the best in their division.
Yeah.
And then I believe the biggest difference is the Chargers do not play New England. But
yeah, I don't think we do.
The Chiefs do.
Yeah.
That's where I was going, okay, that's the most intriguing little love triangle I think is going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, okay, so if Kansas City is able to beat New England, the Chargers don't, I think both of them play, I think they also play the AFC North. I think that's who they play this year.
I believe so, yeah.
But other than the Browns, I don't, and I think the Browns go into both places, which the Chargers home team home field advantage doesn't really matter.
There's not really a home field advantage for the Chargers.
It's the state. You're in the state where the Chargers are. Okay. But I was going, that little love triangle, I think is because if New England loses, I think it's going to be, because if it's a tie, the strength of schedule will go to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But if they win, that's going to bump them. I believe that will be the Chiefs behind the Chargers for that division. That game, that specific game, the Chiefs New England game, because they go to New England.
Yeah.
New England has some home games this year. I don't know if you paid attention to this, where you're going, there was a payoff. There had to have been a payoff. Because you go, if this was flipped around, you still might take New England, but you wouldn't be as confident.
Yeah.
They play Dallas this year in New England. They play the Browns this year in New England. They play the Chiefs in New England. I think it's the Bears, too, in New England. You're going, you got to give them the home field advantage for that. But if you flip those around and go, okay, now go to those other places, you're like, oh, 2-2, 3-1, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going, oh. But I don't see, especially in that division, I don't see any of them coming close.
All right, so that is our AFC record predictions. We'll be back in a little bit with the NFC predictions. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and YouTube at the Kyle and Not Kyle Show, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.